If you're the type who loves those rare moments when Fox News comes out of their propaganda shell and confronts the Trump White House with something that resembles journalistic integrity, you're gonna love what I have for you next. Donald Trump, Attorney General Pam Bondi, and FBI Director Kash Patel are all on the hot seat today over Bondi's announcement about Jeffrey Epstein, and even Peter Doocy, the lightweight White House correspondent from Fox, got in on the grilling. I have that very rare exchange for you in just a minute, but first some background. You may recall that Bondi said this when asked if Epstein, that man who once called himself Trump's closest friend, had a client list that was in her possession.
DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump.
That was then, and this is now. And by this, I mean the statement she released today that put her team in the hot seat. Among other things, it said,
"As part of our commitment to transparency, the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation have conducted an exhaustive review of investigative holdings relating to Jeffrey Epstein. To ensure that the review was thorough, the FBI conducted digital searches of its databases, hard drives, and network drives, as well as physical searches of squad areas, locked cabinets, desks, closets, and other areas where responsive material may have been stored. These searches uncovered a significant amount of material, including more than 300 gigabytes of data and physical evidence. The files relating to Epstein include a large volume of images of Epstein, images and videos of victims who were either minors or appear to be minors, and over 10,000 downloaded videos and images of illegal abuse material and other. Teams of agents, analysts, attorneys, and privacy and civil liberties experts combed through the digital and documentary evidence with the aim of providing as much information as possible to the public while simultaneously protecting victims. Much of the material is subject to court-ordered sealing. Only a fraction of this material would have been aired publicly had Epstein gone to trial, as the seal served only to protect victims and did not expose any additional third parties to allegations of illegal wrongdoing. Through this review, we found no basis to revisit the disclosure of those materials and will not permit the release of child. This systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. There was also no credible evidence found that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals as part of his actions. We did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. Consistent with prior disclosures, this review confirmed that Epstein harmed over 1,000 victims. Each suffered unique trauma. Sensitive information relating to these victims is intertwined throughout the materials.
It doesn't take a genius to figure out that something's not quite right with the trajectory of the Bondi FBI narrative. Enter not a genius Doocy. Watch as he asks the obvious question to Caroline Leavitt, who is prepared to carry the propaganda torch without his help today.
Okay, so the FBI looks at the circumstances surrounding the death of Jeffrey Epstein. According to the report, this systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. So what happened to the Epstein client list that the Attorney General said she had on her desk?
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network on Fox News.
Got the quote.
Go ahead.
John Roberts said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Yes, she was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General was referring to, and I'll let her speak for that. But again, when it comes to the FBI and the Department of Justice, they are more than committed to ensuring that bad people are put behind bars. And the Trump administration is committed to truth and to transparency. That's why the Attorney General and the FBI Director pledged at the President's direction to do an exhaustive review of all of the files related to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes and his death. And they put out a memo in conclusion of that review. There was material they did not release because, frankly, it was incredibly graphic and it contained which is not something that's appropriate for public consumption. But they committed to an exhaustive investigation. That's what they did, and they provided the results of that. That's transparency.
It is rare when we find truth in anything the Trump White House says, but I think the way they say things often signals what the truth is and what's to come. It is obvious that something here is off, and when Peter Doocy is the guy sounding the alarm, you know the stink on the pile of crap is unbearable and undeniable. I think the whiplash-inducing 360 pivot they have made on this story signals there's something they're trying to bury. So how fortunate is it that Trump has loyalists installed who will protect him? And I think the language they are using signals the position they are going to take until the press gives up and moves on to something else. They are consistent in reminding us of the age of the victims, the nature of the crimes, and that images and videos are part of the evidence, and I think they will continue to use that as the reason information can't be released. But of course, that will be a lie. Victim information can be redacted, the crimes are understood and don't need to be repeated, and no photo or video needs to be shown in order to be transparent with the facts, unless, of course, you're hiding the facts. In closing, in the interest of fair and balanced reporting, I'll give Donald Trump the final word, as he once spoke of building trust relative to the Epstein files.
One way to build trust is to declassify things that everyone's talking about. I know you talked earlier about, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist. Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.